Hello. Bl'Artagnan here, with the Gentle Giant, the Guy Lost Chapter Lufenia Plus. We're bringing a no synergy, no BT team, which is pretty exciting. Featuring Strago, Setzer, and Sabin, which not only are all from Final Fantasy VI, but all begin with the letter S, so I guess you could say this team is triple S tier. Let's call it that. Before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Both really help support the channel, help it grow, mean a lot to me. And leave a comment down below with the team you brought for this fight. I'd like to hear about what you brought, because this fight was no cakewalk, not a walk in the park here. These Rage Gators, they got some nasty defense, both the actual defense and the Brave reduction stat. So you gotta bring some pretty heavy damage to get through it. Either Brave gain up, Brave damage up, or you could do what I did and bring Setzer, who's basically a cheat code for this stage. Not only does Setzer boost your damage due to his rainbows, he also can use his Freeze Joker to dodge one of the other major mechanics of the stage, which is the red aura phases that the bosses will go into, where their next 3 actions are going to be nasty HP attacks, and if they don't get to do it, they don't leave the red aura. So you basically want to let them act, in theory, in order to get rid of that aura, but the attacks tend to be really nasty, the sort of thing that'll just kind of kill you. Luckily, Setzer, with his freeze, prevents them from actually killing you during those. So in the event that you're using Setzer on a team that actually lets the bosses take turns, well, you can just kind of ignore that part of the fight, which is great. That said, we're going to be trying to minimize the number of turns that these guys are taking. We'll let them get one there, but I think that's about as far as we're going to be going here. With a team like this, we can afford to be pretty aggressive in pushing them back. We want to keep that Jack buff on the whole time, because while Setzer is giving us those rainbows, not every hit's going to be a rainbow hit, so we want the non-rainbow hits to be pretty potent too. Luckily, when you bring these guys below 80%, or below 50, or below 30, they delay themselves, so that's handy. Oh yeah, the orb. We should probably talk about that. The orb, which just went away and will be coming back once they go below 50%, is +1 for Earth, so that's just kind of, you can stabilize it with Earth, similar to how with Pandemonium you can stabilize with a buff. Or you could +4 it by hitting them with HP damage while they have an HP damage up debuff on them. You'll notice I dropped Gabronth very early in the fight, and that's another reason we're going to be delaying them a whole lot, is because Gabronth is our only source of HP damage up in this fight, through a debuff anyway, which is what you need for the orb. I want to shout out to Mark from the Crystal Chronicles podcast, who is providing this extremely handsome Zidane, who's going to be giving us the breathing room we need to get through this this phase of the fight. Some damage, some turn deletes, that juicy burst effect. Okay, seems I was wrong. Okay, we're gonna let you do an attack as well. It's okay, we got freeze on. No scary HP damage, it was all good. Now, we want B to avoid taking any turns, because he's the one who has, he's queued up his all attack, which is going to be, what's it called, Tremor Plus. And Tremor Plus is a nasty AoE Brave attack into HP attack done 3 times that ignores Brave damage reduction. And if it breaks, it delays you by 3 turns. So it's a really nasty attack. We want to kind of avoid letting them pull that shit off on us. So that's why you'll see we let A go. It's okay. We're going to be delaying the crap out of B. At least while Zidane's on the field. None of that. There we go. Turns are gone. And with that, Zidane is gone. Zidane. That was stupid. It took me a little while to get around to doing this fight. Life has been coming at me fast. You may have noticed I didn't put out a should you pull for sync. I think I'm honestly going to have to be pulling back from doing the should you pulls, just because of all the content I do, they require the most effort in terms of research and the most time, and I honestly just don't really have the time to keep them up at this point. Which is a shame, because I do enjoy doing them, and I like to think they provide some helpful insight for folks, but at least until things are a little bit less crazy for me, I'm going to have to put those on pause, which sucks. So, on the bright side, I'll still be doing the other stuff, the run videos, the pull videos, and, the occasional Larts and Leisure thought, stream of consciousness video. So you see here, we've delayed B. Oh yeah, the other thing they do when at these thresholds is they steal your Brave, which is annoying. Luckily, with Freeze, it's not a huge issue, but just kind of an obnoxious thing they do. Stupid land gators. As you can see, Sabin and Strago are absolutely killing it here. They have a bunch of Brave hits in their kit. They ignore defense, which is great in this stage, and on top of that, they have the rainbows from Setzer, so they're doing even more damage. It is worth noting that these guys... Oh, that's another little thing I did in this fight. They're Imperil immune. The only ways to deal weakness damage are to hit them for their naturally weak Earth, to use a aura like Vaughn or Bart's, or you can do what I did and bring Hope Call, because they're not magic Imperil immune, they're only elemental Imperil immune. So with Hope Call and Perpetual Delay, we can hit them for weakness damage with Strago and Sabin, which is pretty dope. Something you'll notice I was doing there is I was trying to avoid using the summon until the boss turn was next, because sometimes I've noticed with Divine Summons, if you summon, it'll like eat a bunch of turns that you had before the boss. So I like to save the summon for the very last action I do before the boss goes. We got a bunch of Grand Deltas here. Yeah, Strago, just Blue Strago has been one of my favorite units ever since he's really, ever since his Lost Chapter drop. And Sabin has just been an absolute baller. Although, look at these reductions. The even with the Brave Gain battery from his Blackjack attack, or whatever it's called, the Prismatic Flash, only gave the team 20,000 brave. The reductions get really nasty. But again, that's why. Well, they get nasty starting the battering for 10,000. You can see here why I decided not to interact with the bosses a whole lot here, including interacting with their stupid-ass reductions. Thank you, Setzer. Look at this. Ugh. So much damage. You'd love to see it this late in the fight. So, yeah, this is just kind of a little dream team for myself. All three of these characters are really fun to play. I really enjoy using them. Setzer is honestly a bit of a cheat code, as I said, but honestly, there's nothing wrong with using a cheat code in this game, I think. It's a PvE game. It's not like... The only people who are really being cheated here are a couple of Gators. Gators don't have feelings. Oh no. Well, we seem to have delayed them on top of each other, so we're going to just push B back even further, because he's the one we're scared of with that all attack. At the end of the day, if A has to take a turn, we'll survive. He's just going to Brave Attack Sabin and we'll grumble about it. So just kind of continuing to hit them with the rainbows. Something I learned while doing this fight was I wasn't aggressive enough, or my first run of this, with my dive bombs, which is kind of a cool feeling, because with this team, because everyone moves at a relatively normal pace, Sabin can keep the dive bomb buff on the party most of the fight, which is absolutely splendid, I gotta say. Just hitting for tremendous numbers this late in the fight. There we go. We'll refresh our last dive bomb, because since the rainbows are percent-based based on the duration of the buff, I want to max out the number of procs, I guess, of rainbows that I'm getting during these last few turns. Also, I mean, why would I hold that back at this point? I have 2% left. I still haven't greened anyone yet. I keep toying with the idea of greening Y'shtola, because she looks like fun, but since I'm getting through the stages without it, I haven't. We'll see how long I keep that going. But that's where we're at right now. Anyway, with this last launch, that is it. Guy Lufenia plus Lost Chapter out of the way. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.